Hey, what's up and hello? This is the Chris Nicole bringing you my views on life, love, and the world of entertainment through my eyes. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on what time you are watching this live. Hello, crew. Hope all is well. Make sure you hit the likety like button on the way in. So, this is a serious conversation to have. So, moderators, be on alert for the nonsense. Make sure people stay on topic as much as possible. We'll see how many people come in the room because I got questions. So, I don't know if you guys know, but there is a retired rapper by the name of Lord Jamar. All right. And Lord Jamar was a part of a group called Brand Nubian back in the day. If I'm not mistaken, they were a part of the Native Tongues. My personal favorites in the Native Tongues was A Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, Moni Love, Queen Latifah, but I believe Brand Nubian was also in Native Tongues. Now, Lord Jamar, in my opinion, really started to get his popularity up again when he was on this show called Oz. I don't know if you guys remember the show Oz, but I do. But he started to really tap into this new generation when he actually went on a YouTube show or podcast by the name of Vladtv. And for those who don't know, Vladtv is a white man who embraces hip hop culture. He is originally from, I believe, Russia, and his family migrated to the US, California to be exact, the Bay Area to be exact. I'm going to be honest with you guys, for a very long time, I did not know DJ Vlad was black because, of course, he was just doing interviews. But of course, those who remember him, I guess, in the DJing scene knew who he was, what he was, whatever. Well, Lord Jamar was one of his main interviewers back in the day for years. Like, that would be his main person that he would always have on his show to give his feedback and insight on certain topics and trending topics that was going on in hip hop and beyond. Well, give y'all some background. Lord Jamar and Vlad got into it several years back because Vlad ended up saying some very disrespectful things about Louis Farrakhan, Minister Louis Farrakhan. And from my understanding, if I remember correctly, it was due to the fact that he implied, from my understanding, that Louis Farrakhan said something that he actually did not say. And he refused to apologize. Vlad, for me personally, has been very problematic for years. Not just the Louis Farrakhan situation, but if you guys know, even when a black woman professor, actually, he went back and forth with her, and she pretty much told him to stay in his place because this is not his topic nor his fight. And he decided to tag the Ivy League school that actually employed her and making it seem like he was going to call, like he was the po-pos on her. He has definitely done a lot of things, in my opinion, that makes him very suspect. But the problem is when you have so many moons, and moons with a C, who have no problem going to his platform, even when he's done problematic things, of course, someone like this will have the kahunas to say whatever he wants, because it's not like it's going to stop his bag, and it's not like it's going to stop those fools to go on his platform, because they would rather go to his platform than build their own or go to a black content creators platform. So, with that being said, I thought Lord Jamar was going to do that, and he actually did. He actually did. He created his own podcast as well as Godfrey, the comedian. They both went their separate ways due to the disrespect that they felt like Vlad gave. From my understanding, I don't even know if he got paid with all of those interviews and all of those views on Vlad's original content, but they went their separate ways. And I would say both of them were doing pretty good on their own. I want to say Godfrey has 500,000 followers. I know the last time I checked, Lord Jamar had over 100,000, hell, more than me. And that tells me if you keep up with your content, I would say you're making pretty good money on your own. Well, Vlad decided after years later that he was going to apologize about the whole Louis Farrakhan situation. And he did it on the Willie D show. He apparently gave his apologies about it and pretty much said, he made a mistake. He said some other stuff. For me, I was already tuned out. Because the reality is Vlad to me is still problematic even with that apology. I mean, at the end of the day, he literally, while he is claiming that he's not going to put out very iffy, risque pictures of Nipsey Hussle, there is actually video of him saying, I wouldn't put anything out there, but at the same time, Brick Baby, I'll show you the pictures, but I'm not going to put it out there, which means you're still spreading the information regardless. But with that being said, after the apology, apparently Lord Jamar said, I'm still not going back. I'm not going back to Vladtv. You'll probably see Godfrey go back, but I'm not going back. Now, interesting enough, him and Godfrey have apparently gotten into it within these past couple of months. Something about the world being flat versus round. I find this to be the most ridiculous BS. I'm like, are we dealing with grown men here? Like, I'm not trying to convince you if the world is round or flat. Think what you want to think. Does it affect my pockets? Does it affect my bills? What does it matter? If that's what you want to think, that's what you want to think. But apparently they have gotten into it. And so from that, and also him saying he wouldn't go back, and Godfrey will probably go back before him. And all of a sudden, within the last 24 or 48 hours, look at this picture right here. This is a recent picture of Jamar and Vlad. Isn't this a cute picture? Like Ebony and Ivory live together in perfect harmony. Isn't this wonderful? So, yeah, Vlad actually went back. Jamar actually went back to Vladtv. There is a recent interview up. Like he posted as soon as he could. Vlad said, I'm about to post this ish. I'm about to post it. He has it up. And he's like, welcome back. It's been years. Let's do this. And I'm like, well, what happened? What happened, Mr. Jamar, Mr. FBA Stay Strong? Like, you definitely got us looking crazy. Yeah, what happened, sir? What happened? My personal opinion, is Jamar a hypocrite, a sellout, a moon with a C? Yeah. Mm-hmm. My opinion, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, he is. And I'm gonna actually play an actual audio of his. I'm not going to play it on here like the actual video itself, because I'm sure right now, the way people coming at his head, he would definitely be the one to do a sucker move and try to sit up there and demonetize my freaking video, because I would actually play something from his channel. But I'm going to play the audio, okay? So fair use on the freaking audio. But a lot of people are speculating that maybe he's down for the count when it comes to money. Now, I don't know what down for the count is, but I would just say for someone who has over 100,000 subscribers, I just would not be able to understand how that is even possible. that he could be down like that, especially with his hustle, quote unquote, mentality. I mean, for you to have come up in the trenches of the hip hop world, especially in the 80s and the 90s, you got to have some type of hustle in you. So I would not understand for the life of me how that could be possible. But some people are thinking that maybe, just maybe, that is the reason why he went back on Vlad and there was some type of monetary compensation. Now, his podcast right now has 174,000 subscribers. Now, as we know, especially in this YouTube world today, subscribers don't really mean anything, because you know that Tether by the name of Math Heffa, he had like 1 million subscribers and he was barely busting 2,000, 3,000 views. So it's really about your views. But at the same time, I definitely feel like he still should be able to do what he can do, especially with so many Black people who was behind him. So my thing is this. This was a fake beef between, thank you, DeMarcus. This was a fake beef between Lord Jamar and Godfrey. You think it's fake? I don't know, because Godfrey came on and was like, yo, like, I can't believe like Lord Jamar went back to Vlad, because he was so busy trying to say that I was going to go back. But he's the one who went back. So in my personal opinion, yeah, he is. But this is what I really wanted to talk about, because, you know, the problem is in this world, especially in our community, we have what's called selective outrage. Okay. And I do feel that what Jamar just did was a typical moment of, you gonna always be my house ninja, and I'm always going to be available for the highest bidder type of stuff. Yeah, I said it. I don't care. It's my opinion. But let me ask y'all this. What is the difference between what Lord Jamar did? Because y'all know I love to play devil's advocate. It's the scales in me. What's the between what he just did versus what this man did? Let's talk about it. Because, see, the thing is, we're not going to forget the big situation with Jay-Z creating a deal with the NFL after we was literally standing strong on a protest. And I was still holding on until he got, and this still to this day, I regret it, especially after this last Super Bowl. And I'll tell you why. But I don't know, because some people have selective amnesia. He was apparently saying he was down for the strike. Down for, fist up in the air, all of that stuff. Okay. Even told JD, apparently, allegedly, that don't take that deal, because JD was offered a deal as far as the NFL to sit up there and produce, I guess, the halftime show. And Jay-Z apparently allegedly called him personally to tell him don't take the deal, just for him to swoop behind him and end up taking the deal. Now, some people were very annoyed by what Jay-Z did, but I would say the mass majority was trying to make it seem like they was rooting for him, because he was a Black man getting the check. And that meant that, you know what I'm saying, there were going to be other Black artists who were going to be able to showcase their talents on a halftime show, which, again, they're not getting paid for it. Hopefully they maximize it in some kind of way. But at the end of the day, is there a difference between what Lord Jamar did and what Jay-Z did? And the reality is, yes, the NFL is bigger, but it doesn't matter. Hypocrites are hypocrites, are they not? Sellouts are sellouts, are they not? And so is it that people are going to make the excuse because the NFL is a bigger bag and a bigger platform? Because, again, if you would have never said you were fighting for this cause in the first place and decided to take that deal, I don't know if people would have been upset. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that he did take that deal is the same thing with Lord Jamar claiming that he would never go to Vlad, and the disrespect and everything else that came with it just for him to go back. Is it not the same? Is it not the same? And we gonna have to talk about this. But interesting enough, the reason why I had to bring this up is because I remember when Jamar literally talked about the Jay-Z deal, okay, on his platform. Oh, yes, sometimes my memory be off, but baby, I remembered this because at one point, Jamar was the go-to for someone who wasn't afraid to speak the truth. At least that's the way he had it put out there, that he wasn't afraid, no matter how big the person was, even if they were in the same industry or whatever the case may be, he was going to speak the truth, whether you liked it or not. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to play the audio, that is, of what he said about Jay-Z taking that NFL deal. Just very interesting. And this was like 5 years ago, of course. And I was holding on too. I was holding on still, stepping out of that. I was like, I ain't about to watch a halftime show. But then, of course, that whole West Coast stuff got to me, even though the only halftime show that I've seen live recently was the Kendrick Lamar one. The other ones that I did watch, which was like the Dr. Dre, Snoop, and the Usher, like I watched like after the fact. But after this Super Bowl, as much as I like the subliminals and stuff that Kendrick Lamar was doing, once he was trying to sit up there and erase Michael Jackson when it came to his Super Bowl performance, because I don't know what it is. In my opinion, too many people got a fetish and a freaking hard on trying to erase Michael Jackson and what he accomplished. Let me tell you something. I don't care what them so-called numbers say. Michael Jackson's still going to be the GOAT to me when it comes to the Super Bowl and everything else, because baby, he did those numbers back in 93. 93. So that's when I said, ugh, let me get back to my boycotting, okay? Because this is some bullshit. But with that being said, let me play this for y'all. I'm going to play it, and then y'all let me know what y'all think. Now, this is Lord Jamar. Lord Jamar speaking on the whole Jay-Z NFL deal.
Going to hold any influence over them. I feel like it seems like he was brought in because his influence is over us. His influence lies over us. We was the ones that's like, fuck that. We're not watching football. I still ain't watched no fucking football. So now it's kind of like, let's call in, the man of influence, the man that made niggas put on button-down shirts and change from gold to platinum and start drinking from Old English to Cristal. Like nobody's had more of a cultural impact than Jay-Z, which for me is one of the reasons why he's the GOAT. But that being said, it just feels like that cultural influence is being exploited in this very moment. And the only one really benefiting from it, to me, it would seem like is Jay-Z. Or people who fuck with Jay-Z. See, now, if I got to look at it from a different lens, though, let's say I'm looking at it now from a business lens, okay? I mean, in a way, he does have a fiduciary responsibility to his clients that are signed to Rock Nation Sports, any of them that are in the football world, and as well as his artists and stuff like that. I mean, if that's an outlet where you can start getting checks from just doing half times at games all around, you know what I mean? And just putting a quick 50, 100 grand, whatever, in people's pockets real quick. That's cool. So I understand that side of it. I also understand how, we as a people, we have this romantic thing about about how we should move on this revolutionary shit, but yet we don't want to support our revolutionaries. You see what I'm saying? Like Malcolm and Huey and Martin died poor. These people died poor. Like we as a people wasn't truly supporting them on a financial level. So you got people out here who's trying to balance the two of social responsibility and yet financial responsibility to themselves and to their family or whatever the case may be. I get all of that.
Okay. I'm going to stop it right there. Y'all heard that, right? He said a lot. He said, one, that deal only benefited Jay-Z and the people around Jay-Z. So, Jamar, what was the benefit of you going back to Vlad? You made it seem like you was this big revolutionary when it came to fighting for not only FBA, but also standing on principles and integrity as a man and as apparently a 5%er. And so you said that deal only benefited Jay-Z and it only benefited people around Jay-Z. So what was your benefit of going back to Vlad? Now, he also says another thing, revolutionaries, and how our revolutionaries past broke. Huey P. Newton, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. Sir, you are talking about revolutionaries from the 60s. Okay. Huey P. Newton passed in 89. But of course, we know Malcolm X and Martin Luther King when they were assassinated. So here's the problem with you saying that. How you can make money back then is not how you can make money now. See, you got people like freaking Wallow and Gilly, and they have talked about being blackballed or whatever the case may be numerous times, who even with, you know what I'm saying, him having his issues with this person that's actually on the screen right now, with this person who is actually on the screen right now, Gilly the Kid, he has had issues with this man and allegedly claimed that he was blackballed. He still pushed and he still did what he had to do and created his own platform, created his own brand, and is probably making way more money now than he could have ever made under a Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? Like, so at the end of the day, you can do more now. You can do more now with how you can make money and not fall to the system, so to speak. Back in the 60s, it wasn't that many options. So you're not going to be able to use that. But to me, it almost sounds like in that actual audio, he was trying to explain that he would probably go that way also. If y'all, and to me, that's the way it sounds. It sounds like he's saying, hey, well, you know, y'all don't support revolutionaries. So people, you know what I'm saying, try to, you know, still, you know, have a social responsibility, but still have a financial responsibility to themselves and their family. To me, the fact that he said that told me that he was already down for the count and was going to sell out when it was convenient. If you ask me, my personal opinion on the situation, because again, at the end of the day, just like you was able to step away from Vlad and create a platform with all of those followers, you have enough people that he could have really gotten the support that he needed. Godfrey UC isn't going back. Godfrey isn't going back. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I don't consider Godfrey a tether, because again, a tether to me is actual immigrant who either was born in another country, came here, or a first or second generation, but they have a disdain and a disrespect when it comes to foundational Black Americans. To me, that's a tether. Godfrey is not a tether. Godfrey has held it down on principles from the beginning, and it doesn't seem like he's going back. But at the same time, I think Godfrey also believes in himself, has the confidence to know that he can create stuff on his own, hence the reason why he has over 500,000 subscribers. I'm sure he's doing pretty good for himself. I was thinking the same thing that you said about the revolution. Yeah, revolutionaries in the 60s, there was only a certain amount of ways to make money. There was only a certain amount of ways to make money. You can't say that today when you have people making hundreds and thousands of dollars off of 15-second TikTok videos. There's just so many ways to make money now that he can't use that excuse. He can't. You know what I'm saying? So, but to me, he wanted to use that excuse because I feel like that was going to be his exit out. I wouldn't put it past Jamar to sit up there and say, why y'all mad at me, but you ain't mad at Jay-Z no more. He would say something like that. You mad at me, but you ain't mad at such and such. You mad at me, but you ain't mad at such and such. So my question to y'all is it selective outrage? I mean, because at the end of the day, a hypocrite is a hypocrite. A sellout is a sellout. Why is it that somebody else can get a pass on being sellout because of possibly how big the deal is or who they're married to versus a Jamar? I don't know his marital status, but at the end of the day, he is not of the same popularity and I guess the same, you know what I'm saying? He can't be in the same room, certain room, so to speak, with a Jay-Z. But why is there a difference? Why is there a difference? And at the end of the day, who wins in this situation more than anything, and damn sure ain't freaking Jamar, is him, Vlad. Vlad benefits off of this. I don't care what type of deal they have decided to make for him to come back. It definitely is not going to be the same amount of money that Vlad is getting. It is definitely not the same amount of money. So you played yourself. You played yourself because, you know, at the end of the day, Jamar, if you really was about that life and you really wanted to make a point, if you felt like, even though you had already said that you wasn't going back, but this would have been some gangster shit. You talk to Vlad and Vlad come to your platform and promote your platform. Now, see, that would have been some revolutionary shit. Okay, you know what? You apologize. You want to make this work, fine. You know what? First interview, you come to my platform. I'll sit up there and rent out a studio, whatever the case may be, and you come to my platform and we'll discuss it on my platform. See, that would have been some gangster stuff. But it seemed like he tucked his tail between his legs and went back to Vlad. And went back to Vlad on Vlad's terms. Why, sir, don't you have this on your channel? Help me understand. Why don't you have the power to put this on your channel? Because we clearly know who your boss is now. And you're not your own boss. Now, I'm looking at his numbers. Literally 3 days ago, he literally had a live that had 3.5 views. 10 days ago, 6.7, 7.5, 4.3, 22,000. You know what I mean? Like, he, again, for some people, they may say those are not big numbers with how many subscribers he has. To me, those are still decent numbers. They're still decent numbers. Now, I don't know what the man bills are. But I do know one thing. Part of also standing on principles and being a revolutionary, or just in general standing on principles does get tricky. Standing on principles can make things difficult because you telling the truth makes people very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. And for him to be such a freaking wise man, so to speak, who knows what our former revolutionaries went through and everything else, you should have known that going that route and being that guy who stands on principles and truth, it would get very uncomfortable. So at that point, you should have had a game plan, which I thought he did with his podcast, to be able to sustain and to keep it pushing. So, yeah, at the end of the day, and honestly, if you actually look at, and I can't play Vladtv stuff on here, but because everyone's talking about it, Vladtv's actual interview popped up in my algorithm. And I ain't gonna hold you. Jamar looked like he a freaking puppet with somebody's freaking hand up his ass and literally got him saying what up. Like, he looks like he's in the sunken place. He don't look like he want to be there. He looked like he was forced to be in that position. Now, I don't know if someone forced him to be in that position, but I would like to know why he would be forced to be in a position and Godfrey would not. I think at this point, Jamar got a lot of people looking at him crazy. And rightfully so. Yeah, like a wounded puppy. Exactly. He looks crazy. Where's the music industry going from here? We've lost the mystic of good art and music. I don't know everyone's background on popular vote. What happened to the mystic of our favorite artists? My favorite artists are not of this generation, so I can answer that quickly. And the one that I actually do respect of this generation, I guess I would say, and he's very quick to like drop music and then be ghost for like a couple of years and then come back, would be Silk Sonic Bruno Mars. To me, he definitely understands the art of music, the art of mystic. He understands that and will do an amazing album, because I still play Silk Sonic and on heavy rotation. And he did his touring. I think he did like the Las Vegas residency, and he been chilling. To me, that's that old school way of artistry. Let people be gone for a minute and then come back with something great and then be gone again. Like, that to me is the artist that I grew up on, and I still respect that. Let us miss you. Let us miss you. You know what I mean? But yeah, so as far as the music industry is gone. The music industry is gone. Yeah, exactly. He literally, I was like, am I watching Bamboozled? Tap dance, tap dance, ninja, tap dance. Do your sample dance. Like, seriously, that's to me what it was. And it's so crazy because he used to call out people like that. And here he is sitting right there, chilling on Vlad's platform in Vlad's studio. And but interesting enough, Vlad was willing to go on Willie D's platform. So does Vlad really respect Jamar? Because at the end of the day, to me, if he really respected him, especially as a businessman, and was really trying to also help him grow and for him to get his stuff together, that would have been the ultimate also apology. Also, by going on Jamar's platform first and literally being there and actually answering all the questions, or maybe them having an actual interview together, discussion together, and even promoting it on Vlad's channel. To me, that would have shown, I'm sorry, but I also respect you. I respect you as a businessman and everything else, and you standing on integrity. So this is, as at all the years that I have been able to get content out of you with all of your interviews, the least I can do is come on your platform and we can talk about whatever, and I can promote it on my channel that has over 5 million subscribers, maybe even more at this point. But would Vlad do that? Would he do that? He's been on No Jumper, hasn't he? He's been on No Jumper. But why didn't you go on Jamar's platform? Yes, hit the likety like, y'all. Hit the likety like button. So yeah, you guys, but I say all of that to say, and it still remains, what is the difference between Jamar and Jay-Z? What's the difference? At the end of the day, maybe different platforms as far as money involved, but still the same thing of saying one thing and doing another, is it not? Y'all let me know in the chat. Do you feel it's the same thing? And if you don't feel it's the same thing, please tell me why. Now, I see on my poll so far, majority of you guys, over 80%, are saying yes, Lord Jamar is a sellout for going back to Vladtv. There was definitely a better way to handle this if he was going to go back. Personally, you said you weren't going to go back, so you should have just never went back. But if you were going to go back, it should have been the ultimate chess move. You going back to doing the same thing you did over 5 years ago and looking the same or whatever the case may be. I'm trying to figure out what's the difference. You should have sat out there and said, you come to my platform. That would have shown the level of respect, the mutual respect, hopefully, for each other. But in my personal opinion, Vlad don't have respect for any of them fools who come on his platform. But that's my opinion. He sees them as employees. He sees them as employees. He does not like anyone. It's not about support for him. From my understanding, if I'm not mistaken, several years ago, he was complaining about the art of dialogue and how he was trying to say the art of dialogue. I think that was the one. The art of dialogue had like the same type of the way that he had his logo and stuff like this. Like he really comes off like what he does, other people can't do. And he low-key hates on it. He even low-key hated on Shannon Sharp when he did that interview with Cat Williams. And he was like, oh, I mean, he did good, but he didn't make that much money. He didn't make that much money. The dude, in my opinion, is a low-key hater. And unless you are working for him or you are making him money, he don't care. He's not in the business of actually trying to help other people gain millionaire status. He's not about building community, at least not with us in it. At least not with us in it. He may be building another community that he's a part of, but the community that we have, that he loves to sit up there and talk about, the community of hip hop and all of that stuff, all of those people who have literally been coming to his platform for years and literally making him money, how many of them is he really putting on? How many of them is he really putting on? Where they can easily say at the end of the day, he is making his money, but he damn sure has taught me the code of how to make my own money. Now, some may try to say he don't have to do that. I would say he does. Which is why, interesting enough, remember a couple years back when Vlad questioned Lord Jamar about if he's a culture vulture, Lord Jamar said, yeah, based on the definition, you would be a culture vulture. And Vlad was like, well, I don't agree. Well, sir, if you're not helping, see, the thing is, you just having employees that don't look like you, an employee is an employee. How many of them are actually able to create their own being your employee, meaning they're able to leave there with a comfortable salary or be able to start their own platforms and be able to make the millions of dollars that you're making? That would be my question. Or am I tripping? Or am I tripping? So at the end of the day, Lord Jamar, F you. F you. F your fake ass principles. F your fake ass integrity. F you. See, a man who's really going to stand behind his word, he'll go work a regular 9 to 5 before he sit up there and tuck his tail and go back to a platform that he said he wasn't going to go back to. And I guarantee people would have respected that. But for the life of me, I am still not understanding. I am still not understanding why he cannot create more and more on his platform and make a ton of money. Did the man get demonetized and we're not aware of it? Does he not still live in New York? Why ain't he up there with all the other content creators for the Diddy trial? Has he had Gene Deal on his freaking page? Like, what is going on here? You had Jaguar Wright. You interviewed Jaguar Wright. Have you interviewed Gene Deal? There's a lot of people this man could interview just off of his name alone and just what he stood on. So I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if he's going on through a midlife crisis. I don't know. But what I do know is, yeah, he's definitely a hypocrite. But at the same time, I had to put it out there. I had to put it out there. Y'all can't sit up there and have selective outrage, in my personal opinion, and be literally like off with his head with Jamar, but then not do the same with a Jay-Z or any other person who has preached one thing, but then goes behind and does something totally different. You can't. To me, it's the same play. One just got more money at stake than the other, but it's the same play. So that's my thing. And I would definitely like to know what you guys think about this and want to continue the conversation. But it just made me say, well, this is selective outrage. The Saints, there's some people who literally are going off on Lord Jamar right now, who, if someone even says anything small about Jay-Z, they will get their panties in a bunch and lose their mind. Don't talk about Jay-Z. Don't talk about blah, 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 blah. But again, what's the difference? There is no difference. You either stand on principles or you don't. You either right is right and wrong is wrong. You know what I'm saying? And I can be a woman to admit that I was still in that mindset of I'm boycotting. But then all of a sudden, when I felt like there was about to be a Crip walk on the Super Bowl stage, I said, I got to watch it. Even if it was the next day, I still watched it. But like I said, I slipped up and I'm about to slip right back in. Because after this Kendrick Lamar thing, as much as that's my, you know what I'm saying, local brother and everything else, you ain't about to sit up there and play on Michael Jackson's name, not on my watch. And for whatever reason, since that man has been gone, people have been constantly trying to compare him. And even with me saying that Chris Brown probably would have been the closest thing to Michael Jackson if people didn't mess with him and his, him growing in his height, he still wouldn't have been a Michael Jackson. He still would have been a Michael Jackson. That man raised the bar so high, no one is going to be able to obtain it. It's just not going to happen. It's just not. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's selective outrage. People always want to do selective outrage, especially when people have more of a celebrity status. Because, the more of a celebrity status you have, the more of the social media status you have, the more people feel like you're untouchable. And I've talked about this before. People feel like the more of a celebrity status you have and the more followers you have, you must be doing something right. It could be that you're doing everything wrong, depending on what your principles are. You feel me? But at the end of the day, again, do I feel that Jamar's a sellout? Hell yeah. And he's a moon with a C. He all of that. You know what I'm saying? He definitely is looking bad and got everybody looking like what the F for those who were supporting him. Absolutely. So it would be very interesting, which probably for money's sake, he is going to go on his channel and try to explain what happened or what's going on, or try to do the FU whatever type situation. But that audio that I just played for y'all let me know if y'all heard that audio loud and clear. It sounds like to me he was already making an excuse to get his way out even 5 years ago. Even 5 years ago. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. He was already saying then, you see the revolutionaries, you know what I'm saying? Like they left us broke. They left us broke. You know what I'm saying? So how do you navigate, social issues, responsibilities, and financial responsibility? He was already making the play, if you ask me. That if at any moment the highest bidder he will go to. Yeah, that's my opinion on it though. But the highest bidder he would go to. To me, he was already setting it up at that moment. And where the hell is Rod Digger? Him and Rod Digger used to do the podcast together. Where did Rod Digger go? Like, is he one of those that he can't sit up there and keep things going because maybe he's just bad at that? I don't know. But the Yada Da Mean podcast that he was doing, I know a good year ago they were still doing it, and then now I haven't seen him really do anything with Rod Digger. And I think it was Rod Digger and Godfrey. Now I know him and Godfrey done got into it at this point, but I don't know. maybe Jamar is one of those people that you can't really work with him. You can't really work with him. And he's one of those people where you can't work with him, or if you do work with him, you either fear him or you down and out. You down and out, and you need some type of way to get the ball rolling. But yeah, I don't know, because him and Rod Digger and Godfrey, and I think of somebody else, if I'm not mistaken, they had that podcast going and flowing. They really did. But see, the problem is with those type of podcasts, if you're going to be fair, because allegedly a lot of those type of podcast people aren't fair, allegedly. But if you're going to be fair, you got to make sure you pay those people and pay them correctly. So I'm hoping that wasn't a situation, because I haven't heard. Maybe I got to do my research. For those who are listening, even the replay gang, if you know what happened with Rod Digger on that Lord Jamar podcast, please by all means let me know, because I thought it was pretty good to kind of have their different perspectives, one as a woman of hip hop, a black woman of hip hop, and then a black man of hip hop, who I would say were very more of the indie true like origins of hip hop flavor. Both of them are and were. But yeah, haven't seen her on there. And then he got into it with Godfrey over. I cannot believe I saw what I saw when they said it started off with this nonsense about the world being flat or round. Are you getting that damn old where you just having pointless freaking arguments? Really? You're beefing and willing to go into some drama with someone that you considered a friend or whatever? There hasn't been any other issues, from my understanding, over the world being flat or round. So what? Huh? What the hell? Okay, you saying you heard Ra was prejudiced against the LGBTQIA plus and the man war towards her. You talking about on the podcast? You're saying on the podcast she was like that? Well, how does Jamar feel about the LGBTQIA community? How does he feel about it? Now, I could definitely see men being that towards her, because I don't know if I can necessarily say that word, which make sure you ask your guys that out the next time. I don't know if that could be considered a flag, but I could definitely see that. I mean, women in hip hop and just in general talk about that stuff all the time. But I don't know how Jamar feels about LGBTQI community. I think some of the things that I've seen, I don't know if he's necessarily pro it either. I think he just respects it from a distance, because he knows saying probably too much, it can be an issue. But I don't know if he looks at it as that way. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. And I don't think he's ever going to be honest about that either. Believe it or not, there are a lot of people who have their opinions on that. They just kind of keep their mouth shut. And I guess to a certain extent, like I say all the time, even as a black woman, there's going to be people who are going to be discriminatory. Like they're going to be racist and discriminate towards me because of that. But my thing is, as long as you don't try to harm me, harm my pockets, all of that stuff, you can have your opinion, but have your opinion over there. But don't sit up there and try to ruin me or try to stop me from what I'm trying to do, because you simply don't like me because of what my color is, what my choices are. Like that's insane to me. Drama and beef make the world go round and sell. Yeah, but so you think that Godfrey and Lord Jamar are beefing just for the views? Even if that were the case, that still is not based on Jamar's principles like he claimed he has. So even if that is the case, he's still not falling based off of the principles that he claims he has. And he also is, if I'm not mistaken, a 5%er, which is why he calls himself Lord Jamar. That would be something that would be beneath them, from my understanding, to just literally create beef just for the views. But again, he's back on Vlad, so I guess, shit. At this point, you know what I'm saying? Anything is possible, child. Anything is possible. Okay, she was lightweight OD in her views, but as a card-carrying member of the community, I wasn't offended. And I have friends in the LGBTQIA community, it takes a lot for them to get offended, because I guess, again, you can have your opinion, but don't try to stop my bag or try to harm me or do anything to me to try to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and I think that's at least the mature ones that I know and I've been friends with for years. They don't give a shit what you think, but what you think better not affect them on a physical level, a financial level, a mental level. You know what I'm saying? You can have your opinion, but, you know, again, I don't know if that's the reason why he removed her. Doesn't seem like that would be the case. I want to know if Rod Digger done had an interview and it explained what the hell happened. I'm trying to figure out. I wonder if y'all think Chat GBT will tell me what happened between. Y'all want me to do a Chat GBT? I'm like, what the hell happened between? What happened? Because you know, Chat GBT say everything. What happened between Lord Jamar and Ra Digga? Let's see. Let's see what Chat GBT. As of now, there are no major publicized issues or falling out between Lord Jamar and Ra Digga that have been confirmed or widely reported. In fact, Lord Jamar and Ra Digga have often worked together on the Yada I Mean podcast. Ra Digga has been less visible on the Godcast in recent years, leading some fans to wonder if there was some behind the scene issues. Yeah, I'm wondering that too. But they haven't done anything publicly. So yeah, but as of right now, they claim there's no confirmed beef. But what I do know is she ain't nowhere around, and she was faithfully on there. So maybe one day she'll speak up, especially now that this fool done did the ultimate sellout move. Maybe she will speak out. Rob, go to Godfrey's channel and spill it, honey. Spill it. If you got the goods on who Jamar really is, go to Godfrey's channel and just let it all out. Let it all out. That would be my opinion. But with that being said, you guys, thank you guys so much for listening. Let's continue the conversation below. I know I got a lot of hip hop heads that follow me. For y'all, give me the insight. What do y'all think about this situation? Do you feel that there's selective outrage with Jamar doing this versus Jay-Z? What do y'all think is going on in the situation? And really, what was the ultimate move that Jamar could have shown that he was a boss in this situation? This does not give boss. This gives bitch. I said it. I said it. Now, I ain't calling the man a bitch. I'm saying the move was a bitch. Wasn't a boss move. It was a bitch move. Okay? Because bosses don't move like that. They just don't. Sorry. They don't. So with that being said, you guys, let's continue the conversation. Please like, share, and subscribe for your girl so I can get into the algorithm. I'm a small channel. They be trying it, honey. They be trying it. But please likety like, and let me know what y'all think. Let's get the conversation going because I truly want to know what you guys think about this. But with that, like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you on my next video. Toodles.